Hello, my fellow Nioh players. I'm a little bit annoyed because I spent the last 20 minutes recording this build video only to realize that my audio wasn't working. So, here I am again. So, I want to start off by saying that this build can be done in basically any difficulty, even on your first playthrough, because this is simply a paralysis axe build, a paralyzing tanky axe build per se. You want to be immortal. That's the whole purpose of this build. Undying, tanky to everything. And it's also rumbling earth based because a lot of axe builds, they're mostly based off of mad spinner. So I'd rather go for rumbling earth just for a lot of damage because there's a lot of potential. I don't think a lot of people realize that. So for the most part, this build can be done on, like, you know, your first playthrough, but not all of it. So this is my axe. We had the paralysis accumulation because, like I said, this is a paralyzing axe build. Attack bonus based off of stamina because the axe scales off of stamina. And since we have max stamina being at 200, we're going to get a lot of damage in. I don't really care about the break inheritable. Maybe I'll replace that. I don't know. I don't care. Life drain on strong attack. That's pretty handy, I guess, because, you know, you heal as you deal damage. And we only use strong attacks. We don't really use light attacks on this build, per se. But, I mean, you could do without that, too. We want that rage duration because we abuse rage duration a lot on this build. Alright, and the set bonus for Kentaro, it's extra life, rumbling earth damage plus 20%, which is great because we abuse that move. Damage taken minus 4%, because that's really good as well, because, you know, we want to be a tank to everything, so we want to take less damage. We have the increased attack and defense, which is really great, you know, and as well as the strong attack damage plus 15%, which is a huge difference. So that's really great. So having all 6 pieces, it's pretty handy. Alright. The dual swords, I don't use these at all. This is simply for the Profligate Sinner set bonus. Literally, I'm just using this for the melee versus paralyzed enemy, which is plus 40%, which is really good, honestly. You only need 3 pieces of this, so it's really nice, you know, just for extra damage. Next, I use Akala's Grace, and I simply use it just for the extra health, as well as the extra defense, because, you know, we want to be tanky and have a lot of defense under our belt. I also use the Grace of Susanoo, so that's even more health, as well as the damage taken minus 6%, which is great because with the Kentaro set, we take minus 4% damage. So we take basically less, or 10% less damage than everyone else, which is really great. But since we're a tank, it feels like way more than 10%. You'll see the difference if you start out with this build. Again, this is the Profligate Sinner. I already showed you guys the set bonuses. We're only using it for melee versus paralyzed. I have the rage duration inheritable on here because we abuse rage. Oh, an enemy sensor. I love enemy sensor, honestly. It's really great. I love abusing it. This is my chest piece, being the Kentaro set. We have the increased attack and defense for the axe, as well as life recovery on immediate absorption, because we want to regain a lot of health, honestly. Untouched Amyo magic. I wouldn't say it's a huge requirement, but it's pretty handy, honestly, because we use a handful of different talismans. So, you know, keeping extra talismans would be really nice. Faster winded recovery, I would call that a requirement. Simply because, you know, for this build, we don't have a lot of ki, which is actually good because the less ki we have, the stronger we are. But because we don't have a lot of ki, we're more than likely to get winded pretty often. So you want to recover from that quickly. You can see I have the Rumbling Earth inheritable on my chest piece, which is great. I wouldn't say you need it, but honestly, I would strongly recommend it because, you know, more damage, plus we get the 20% from the set bonus in itself. I got the Rumbling Earth inheritable from Revenant farming before they patched it, so I was lucky. It could still be done. It's just less likely to actually get it now. So again, I have the Rumbling Earth damage as well as the Axe damage and Untouched Ninjutsu because we also use a handful of Ninjutsu items. Rumbling Earth again, Health Star effect, which is nice. Melee key damage. Amio magic power, I could honestly temper that off, but I could wait. This is my first accessory. I use it simply for the set bonus requirements reduced -1, because that's really helpful, honestly. That way we don't have to rely on the Yasukani Magatama anymore. Untouched Amio magic, which is handy. Melee versus Paralyzed, we need that a lot. It's really good. And we also had the Paralysis accumulation, which is also really good. We also need that. Both of those can be tempered. They aren't star effects like, you know, melee versus Scorched or melee versus Electrified or melee versus Saturated. Because luckily melee versus Paralyzed can be, and melee versus Poison, they can be tempered, so that it's pretty easy to get some like really good damage in, which is why I went for this. But also Rumbling Earth is a charge up move, so you know, I'd rather stop the enemy instead of be interrupted trying to launch the attack. But again, Akala's Grace simply for the extra defense, and Grace of Susanoo simply for the damage taken. This is my scroll, which I use simply for the ultimate stamina and ultimate constitution. I don't have a scroll of the Nioh or the scroll of the damned version of this yet, but ultimate stamina, what this does is, because we have a small amount of ki, it's gonna give us the AA toughness status, which allows us to take less ki damage, which is pretty helpful. That way we won't get winded as much. Ultimate constitution, that allows us to passively heal rapidly as long as our health is above 70%, which is pretty helpful or pretty handy. My skills. So, the main skills you want to go for here, definitely Rumbling Earth and Rage for sure. You know, because we abuse Rage, right? Titanic Strength, it's optional. I mean, you could go for it, you know, just to have, you know, some variety. But I'll explain a little later why that's optional. Spinning Slide, you don't really need this at all. But I'm a fan of parrying, so I like to play around with this sometimes. It's pretty cool. The Mystic Art we're abusing is the Intensity Mystic Art because it massively boosts the damage of attacks that reduce your ki to 0 or below. So in other words, when we do a charge move like Rumbling Earth, right, it's going to take all our ki because we're going to have very little ki. And so because of that, Intensity is going to boost the damage of that Rumbling Earth. But also, Rage is a skill that allows us to increase our attack strength, but also increases the amount of ki used when attacking. So it's going to increase the ki drain, it's going to boost our damage, and because it's increasing the ki drain, our ki is going to go down to 0, which will activate Intensity, so we get another damage buff at the same time while using Rage. So it's really helpful. Melee Mastery, I dumped the rest of my points into this, you know, just for more attack and damage, really. That's it. So yeah, your main points, Rumbling Earth, Rage, Intensity, and Melee Mastery. Don't really need anything else. Skill customization. So, we only use high stance here, to be honest. We don't need any of the other stances. But Rumbling Earth, I have that based off. So I have the custom skill setting for damage boost stamina. Since I have max stamina, which is 200, that's going to be a 10% damage buff, which is pretty handy. I mean, you could honestly go for ki damage too if you wanted to, but I decided to go for attack damage. Heaven and Earth, yeah, that's pretty nice move, honestly. I like to use it for Anima charge, but you could use that for ki damage too, I guess, since it's a multi-hit. Don't really use this that much, to be honest. Now, the reason I said, we don't really need Titanic Strength, it's optional, is because it's linked to the L1 triangle. So I like to use the Sacred Birthflight because, we're a pretty heavy build, right? So we don't have much speed. It's hard to catch up with certain enemies like Ubiyume or the Kama Itachi. So I like to use the Sacred Bird Flight just to catch up with enemies. It's pretty handy. And we use Rage. Like I said, we don't use any of the other stances, but I guess when I do go to mid stance, I like to use, Spinning Slide just to play around with the parry. Now, as you can see here, I've actually taken off my sneak attack and my grapple. And the reason for that is because when you paralyze a human, you're able to grapple them or sneak attack them. But honestly, what I like to do is I like to go behind, hit them with Rumbling Earth. Good damage right there, by the way. But that way I don't accidentally end up grappling them. So yeah, this isn't even a grapple build either. No Soul Core spam, no Feather spam, no Jutsu spam, no grapple abuse, just raw power. Okay. So next, my stats. These are my stats, right? 200 Constitution simply for, extra health, because it's gonna be hard to kill us. We want a lot of health, and we're already pretty tanky enough, as you can see by my defense. But yeah, 200 Constitution for extra health, as well as Ultimate Constitution, because 150 health is required for ultimate stats. We have no heart because we don't want ki at all. We want very little ki. As you can see here, I have 980 ki, which is great, because the smaller ki we have, the easier it is to drain all of it. And that leads to us getting a huge damage buff from the Intensity Mystic Art. 200 Courage, because my axe scales off of both the stamina and courage stat, which is something I managed to do at the blacksmith when I hit remodel. So yeah, my axe gets a damage buff based off of courage, as well as stamina. We have 200 stamina, so because of that, we get a lot of health. We're able to get the ultimate stamina stat, which allows us to get the AA toughness, which allows us to take less ki damage so we don't get winded as much anymore. Stamina gives us a lot of bonuses. It gives us extra health, it gives us extra damage, because on my axe I have attack bonus based stamina, and well, it's based off of stamina in two ways, so that's a double buff, I suppose. I'm also in the Toto clan, which gives you a health bonus based off of your stamina, so yeah. Alright, strength, don't have a lot of that. Don't really need a lot of that. We barely even get any damage from strength as it is now, with the way I remodeled my axe, so don't really need much of that. 7 skill. Originally I did this because I was using an accessory that required 7 skill, so you don't really need any skill at all, to be honest, but yeah, you just don't need skill at all. I just didn't feel like, taking the time to use the Book of Reincarnation to change 2 stat points. 59 dexterity. We use a handful of ninjutsu, nothing like feathers or all that stuff, just paralyzing stuff. Because the thing is about this build is it's very powerful, right? And it's very rare for an enemy to actually activate quick change, because what quick change does is essentially when your health is pretty low, right, you basically come back from the dead. And well, what you want to do is you want to have your magic and dexterity at 30%, 30 minimum, but I decided to bump it up to around 60, just to prolong the duration of quick change, because my quick change would run out not because enemies were activating it, but because the duration was just too short, so I decided to prolong that. 100 magic just to prolong the effects of my magic buffs. That's pretty much it. Oh, right. These are my percentages for anyone who cares. We get that strong attack 15% from the Kintaro set. 15% melee damage. Not even sure where that's from, to be honest with you. Let's see, we have the melee versus paralyzed 89.8%, which is great. We get that from tempering melee versus paralyzed on our accessories, as well as the male factor set bonus, because the male factor gives you a 40% extra, right? Remnant earth damage is at 47.9% because of the inheritables I have, but wearing the Kintaro set will definitely keep you at 20%, but it's going to be doing way more thanks to melee versus paralyzed. Rage duration's at 20%-ish. Wish it was higher, but it is what it is, and that's fine. Paralysis accumulation 69%. That is because I have paralysis accumulation on my axe, both of my accessories, my guardian spirit, which I'll get to in a minute, as well as my soul core. But yeah, those are the main points. These are the rest of the stat points if anyone cares about that. You can see I have damage taken minus 10%. That's from the 6% from the Susanoo and 4% from the Kintaro set. Yeah, there you go, for anyone who cares enough to read all this stuff. Alright. Okay. Titles, you can see I have 0 ki from the titles. I avoided getting extra ki because, like I said, we don't want ki at all. Yeah. And then this one, I just dumped it into extended yokai shift and yokai stuff, honestly. Anima, all that jazz. Okay. Our attack, it's pretty high, thanks to us being in the Toto clan, because we get a damage buff based off our equipment weight, attack bonus stamina, all that. We get a lot of power and a lot of defense thanks to the Kintaro set and male factor set. You can see my agility is also at C, by the way, which is great because that's more ki drain, so more damage. My equipment weight, it's pretty high. I made sure to remodel it to the highest equipment weight, you know, just for more defense. Make sure to do that. Yeah, we got a lot of health there, and as you can see, I'm max level, but I'm not max focus level. I think I'm like level 20 in terms of focus level. So yeah, I'll show off my magic. I'll show my magic in a moment, but I just wanted to. So I paralyzed. I used rage just now. Run behind them, charge up Rumbling Earth. 49k. Kinda odd because, hold on. So you can see I'm passively healing, and that is because of the ultimate constitution stat that we have. So yeah, when he damaged me a bit just now, I was healing passively, which is great. So as you can see, our health is going back up rather quickly, so that's really great. Now I'm gonna show off my magic real quick. Nah, my magic, I use the barrier talisman because we have some pretty heavy armor, so our key's gonna come back somewhat slow. I mean, yeah, we have max courage, which is great for key recovery, but barrier is just the way. Barrier is just really good. Plus, it's gonna get rid of those dirty little yokai pools for us. So, yeah, I used 5 barrier. I use rejuvenation to heal passively because, like I said, Immortal, Tanky, constantly healing, undying. You know, immune to everything. So rejuvenation allows us to heal passively, which is pretty nice. And then, you know, combined with ultimate Constitution, and we're gonna be healing really great. The Fire Stop, Water Stop, and Lightning Stop talisman. This is so that we're immune to all the elements. 'Cause, you know, we're pretty slow as it is because we're really heavy. So we don't want the lightning to slow us down. We don't want water to weaken our defense, even though we're still going to be tanky. And we don't want to get burnt at all. So I use 3 of each. You can go with 2, but I like to use 3 just in case. Last but not least, this is optional. I use the Gust Talisman because say you're fighting an enemy, right? There's another enemy shooting behind you. Because of that, you're in the middle of attacking, and I don't know, the projectile hits you in the back. Because of that, you're gonna get winded because we don't have a lot of ki. So I like to use the Gust Talisman to deflect projectiles while I'm in the middle of fighting. It's just really handy, but you can replace this with something else if you'd like. Ninjutsu. I used the Poison Hemlock Breath. This is to give my axe the paralyzing effect. To be honest, you need like 4 at least. At least 4, I'd say. Don't really need all 6, but I decided to be extra. The Poison Medusa powders, those are the throwable paralysis items that you could just yeet. And you know, they're pretty handy in case you don't feel like, you know, chasing someone to go do something. And next I have Quick Change, which is really great. It adds on to that whole Immortal effect, so when we die we'll come back, and I have all 4 Quick Changes equipped. Okay. Now on my item shortcut, you can see I have a handful of stuff, so I use the Sacred Brush to, like, you know, get my items back in case I run out, which is kind of rare, unless I'm in the underworld, for sure. I use Sacred Water to, you know, save up on barriers sometimes, and I use the Lantern Plant Fruit just to get Anima back. And Dried New Peppo Meat, that's more of a... Dried New Peppo Meat, so the items I just listed, they're not required at all for this build, but they're just extra stuff. So take a look at this, right? The way New Peppo Meat works is like, well, Rage works by increasing the amount of ki our attacks cost, and it also boosts our attack damage. New Peppo Meat basically does the same thing, except we take more ki damage. Now the thing is, you guys just saw Rage. I mean, with Rage, I just did like 69k on that Yoki, right? So if I combine that with the New Peppo Meat, 110k. And that's simply because, well, New Peppo, it's basically like a second Rage, but with more ki damage. It doesn't last long at all though, but I like to use it as a last resort. I wouldn't say it's a requirement. Now this is my Guardian Spirit. I use the Itokiri Spirit simply for the paralysis accumulation as well as the Imbue Paralysis Yokai abilities. It's pretty handy. It's really good because, you know, we have 69% paralysis accumulation. My Soul Cores, right? I use the Karakasa Umbrella Soul Core simply for the paralysis accumulation. It's pretty nice. The Gazuki Soul Core, it has that life drain and it has Anima bonus paralyzed enemy, so if I paralyze someone I'm gonna get some Anima, which is really great. But I use Gazuki simply for the ki damage. Kasa Soul Core, really good, constantly heals you as it's burning up enemies, so I just use it for extra health, honestly, you know, just to constantly heal. Secondary Guardian Spirit is the Ho-Oh. I use this just for damage taken versus yokai, you know, just so we could tank more. Ignore the Soul Cores on there, because I use Nioh and the Thunderstorm Onibi, you know, just for lightning, for enemies that are weak to lightning. Sometimes I'll switch between spirits just to utilize that lightning effect, and then I'll switch back. But the Soul Cores there aren't really that important. Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, I'm in the Toto clan, as you can see here. Life bonus, stamina, damage bonus, equipment weight. So that's really great. You know what I mean? Because we have max stamina, so we're going to get a lot of health. And since we're heavy, we're going to get a lot of damage in. So, yeah, this is my Paralysis, Immortal, Undying, Tanky, Rumbling Earth Axe build. It's a mouthful, it's a lot, but it's really OP, as you can see in these upcoming clips. So, thanks for watching, I guess. Hi guys. Alright, so, at the time of this recording, this is a clip I recorded a few days ago, before I was even max level, or before I even maxed out my armor. I think my armor at the time it was around plus 90. I was close to max, but not quite. But this would still show how powerful the build is. So I'm gonna kind of speed it up a bit because clip's a bit lengthy. I don't want this video coming out to be too long. But yeah. Okay, so you can see here that I actually used the Steel Talisman. Um, Don't use that at all. You don't need this for this build at all. I was just randomly using it. This is before I changed my magic. Just ignore that little part right there. So right off the bat, you can see that I'm doing some pretty crazy damage. I mean, I got winded, yeah, but thanks to faster winded recovery, it didn't last long at all. Fuki's quite the enemy to deal with, to be honest. Absolutely demolished. For those of you that played the game before DLC 1 came out, there was an OP Guardian Spirit by the name of Tengen Kujaku that would, give you an attack buff, and it would also stack with other attack buffs, if you recall. Essentially, with this build, it's almost as if I have Tengen again. You can see I just destroyed those yokai. But yeah, that's how OP this build is. Yeah, notice I used the Sacred Bird Flight to get around quickly and to finish him off. Had I used my heavy attack as always, he would have winded me and I would have taken damage. Not that that matters, because, we're tanky. Now look at this. Alright, you got a handful of enemies popping up around you. So what you do is paralyze them all together. Crushed. It's beautiful. Okay, but I think you guys basically get the point of this build. It's pretty simple. All I need is triangle. But yeah, you see? Notice how I got interrupted when I was charging the move. Hence why I like to, paralyze multiple at the same time. As so. I didn't kill all of them, but definitely did a lot of damage. As you can see, most of them are nearly dead already. Well, but yeah, I'm gonna fast forward from this point. You guys get the point. The fast forward will end by the time I get to the Dark Realm, which is at the third shrine of this map, if you know it too well, so this won't be long. So we're demolishing these yokai on the hardest difficulty. Notice how when this Magatsu warrior grabs me, I take no damage, and the ultimate constitution literally out-heals his grab attack. We are essentially a god at this point. I get winded, but I instantly get back up thanks to faster winded recovery and barrier. Paralyze him. Somehow he got out of it, but I still do some really great damage. This build is really great, and I guarantee you guys will just go crazy with it. I think at this point in time I was trying to practice the spinning slide parry that I was talking about earlier, because I like to parry into Rumbling Earth, but there it is. I did say I used the Karakasa Umbrella Soul Core just to for the paralysis accumulation, but using it like that, that's really handy too. So yeah, thanks for watching my video.